Manny, are you okay? Manny, are you okay? That's all.
Well, you're going to get paid. They're going to get paid, though. They're going to get paid.
Absolutely.
They're going to make some money now.
That's right. They're going to get paid. That's the whole thing of this. Again, we got to wait till September till this happens, but nonetheless, we can sit around and talk about it for the next, I don't know how many.
I love both of them, so I'll be there. I got love for both of them, so I'll be there.
Steve don't need an excuse to get on the jet and go to Vegas.
That's right.
Average Netflix subscriber is worth $900. Some will be worth $1,500. Some will be worth $29.99. So the average Netflix subscriber is worth $900. So by that mathematics, they paid Mike Tyson and Jake Paul something like $150 million, and they banked $2 billion.
Well worth it.
He got everywhere he got because of this right here. That's never going to change for him, right? So he's just going to lock back in, and he'll literally be the Floyd of old. I'm willing to bet that this sanctioned fight is Manny's team pushing against this and saying we need an actual fight against Floyd. If it's not an actual fight, it's nothing. And I think Floyd, he just really believes in himself and knows that
the boxing world is buzzing after Netflix confirmed what many thought impossible: a fully sanctioned professional rematch between 49-year-old Floyd Mayweather and 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao. This isn't just a friendly exhibition, it's a full 12-round bout, officially approved, and it's set to headline the first ever combat sports event at the Las Vegas Sphere. While the trailers emphasized legacy, the real driving force behind this fight is far more financial than sentimental.
Pacquiao, because they're both in shape. Nobody's going to come in there fat and out of shape. Mayweather stays in shape. He's the greatest defensive fighter arguably we've ever seen, and clearly one of the greatest ever. But their fight in 2015, hyped as the fight of the century, I was so hyped to see it, was underwhelming in the end because it wasn't nearly as much action as we expected because of Mayweather's defensive brilliance and the fact that Pacquiao couldn't catch him, not to mention Pacquiao mentioning after the fight that he had a shoulder injury and all of this other stuff. I mean, Mayweather's been retired for 9 years. I'm underwhelmed, but I don't blame them because a lot of people would still want to see this, but
even as analysts like Stephen A. remain cautious, the boxing community has to face the reality that two fighters approaching their 50s are still commanding massive attention. Despite being framed as a nostalgia-driven spectacle, the scale of this event, headlining the high-tech Sphere, shows that fans' fascination with these names hasn't disappeared entirely. The speed may have slowed, but the pull of their reputations is still strong.
Wow, man. But look, man, these are two guys that, like, I know people look at their age and go like, man, they old as hell, but you got to think about it. Like, they both live healthy lifestyles. Floyd's not a drinker. Floyd's not that type of guy. He don't do drugs. And neither does Pacquiao, and these are guys that they're legends and they always stay fit. You never see them look, overweight or anything like that, man. So, yeah, they're up there in age, man. But at the same time, these are guys that really take care of their bodies. And, let's not forget, Bernard Hopkins became world champion at 48. And, Bernard Hopkins was beating Pascal. He was beating young dudes. He was looking good just on his experience and his, his respect for the game. So I really think this is going to be a good fight.
But if Netflix was a player in the game in 2015, how many people would have watched their first fight on Netflix? Bear in mind, 4.5 million people bought the pay-per-view for well over $100. Crazy. I mean, the pay-per-view generated over $500 million. Can you imagine how many people would have watched it on Netflix back then? Back then. They still will get a big number. I still think they'll get around the 70 million number. I really do. So, although there'll be people like me scratching my head saying, why are they doing this? They're doing this because people will watch it. There will be a lot of people that watch this on Netflix. I am a massive Floyd fan. But I was obsessed with everything Floyd Mayweather did. I thought he was a genius when it comes to marketing and a genius in the ring. Like, it's very rare that the two go together, which is why I think everyone kind of fell in love with Conor McGregor, right? Because Conor McGregor was a genius outside the ring in terms of how to sell a fight. And in the octagon, he actually proved that he can fight as well. Floyd, obviously on a completely different level, but you know what I mean? Very similar. Someone that talks the talk and walks the walk. And Floyd.
Meanwhile, financial scrutiny is revealing cracks in the Money Mayweather empire. Just weeks before the rematch was announced, reports emerged of a $340 million lawsuit filed by Mayweather against Showtime and former executive Steven Espinoza, claiming misappropriated funds and complex financial mishandlings. Critics suggest another story. Perhaps the undefeated champion is stepping back into the ring because his fortune isn't as untouchable as it once seemed.
Yeah, and I always thought that Floyd was a brilliant businessman, but you start to read articles of, he's got things in foreclosure, and I can't imagine that you would lose Mike Tyson did. But then, we had people stealing right in front of him. That was the difference here. But with Floyd, I thought Floyd was like a Darrell Rebus kind of businessman. So if he's coming back because he needs money, that is sad.
But that's not this. And it wasn't that in 2015. So the question I ask is, Manny, are you okay? Manny, are you okay? That's all.
Well, you're going to get paid. They're going to get paid, though. They're going to get paid.
Absolutely.
They're going to make some money now.
That's right. They're going to get paid. That's the whole thing of this. Again, we got to wait till September till this happens, but nonetheless, we can sit around and talk about it for the next, I don't know how.
I love both of them, so I'll be there. I got love for both of them, so I'll be there.
Steve don't need an excuse to get on the jet and go to Vegas.
That's right.
He do that on a weekend.
That's right, for a fight. A weekend, one
a
night.
Weekend.
And hop on over for one night.
I'm going to get on Delta.
This isn't merely a victory lap or a casual exhibition. For Floyd, this 9-figure Netflix payday is a calculated move to protect a legacy reportedly under pressure from creditors and legal claims. If the claims about missing millions are true, then this fight is about far more than keeping a perfect 50-0 record. It's about safeguarding his empire.
Building entertainment models around sport. Sport is entertainment. It crosses over. Netflix have got a proven model of success that ultimately they invest some money into these sort of things, whether it's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson or Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. They'll look at their lifetime value of their average subscriber, not every subscriber, but their average subscriber, and then they multiply it by the amount of subscribers they think they're going to get as new ones, and they make a commercial decision.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because everything that they've done so far is massive. And this obviously will be a talking point. I mean, Anthony Joshua's knockout victory over Jake Paul in December wasn't something that the boxing fraternity wanted, but it appears to be that they understand what people want, what the rest of the community wants. And actually, I don't know if that's the algorithm or just good research or just good instincts, but they do great numbers.
They have a 300 million subscriber base around the world, bigger than that now. I think the growth on the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fights, I think they got 2 million subscribers out of it, new subscribers. Now, irrespective of whether some of those subscribers churn or don't stay for a long period of time, the average Netflix subscriber is worth $900. Some will be worth $1,500, some will be worth $29.99. So the average Netflix subscriber is worth $900. So by that mathematics, they paid Mike Tyson and Jake Paul something like 150 million, and they banked 2 billion.
Well worth it.
Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, isn't coming back just for the money. He is determined to right what he calls the robbery of 2015. Pacquiao's injured shoulder and the controversial judges' scorecards from their first encounter have fueled a decade-long frustration. He has repeatedly expressed a desire to give fans the fight they were denied the first time. Unlike Mayweather, Pacquiao has remained highly active, consistently facing top-level competition.
He got everywhere he got because of this right here. That's never going to change for him, right? So he's just going to lock back in, and he'll literally be the Floyd of old.
Yeah. It feels like such a massive risk, though, Sean, even for Floyd, to put that 50-0 record, that unblemished record, on the line. From that standpoint, are you surprised that they didn't do this as an exhibition, that it is a real deal sanctioned fight?
I'm not really surprised. I think that, again, when you get in the ring with Floyd, when you do a promotion against Floyd, when you have to deal with the business with Floyd, you grow, you learn. Manny has grown and learned the same way that we were notorious for saying Canelo became a different fighter after fighting Floyd. It's how it's supposed to go, So I'm willing to bet that this sanctioned fight is Manny's team pushing against this and saying we need an actual fight against Floyd. If it's not an actual fight, it's nothing. And I think Floyd, he just really believes in himself and knows that that ain't going.
like Money Mayweather was a pressure fighter, and then Pretty Boy Floyd was a pressure fighter, and then he became Money May, and he became a strategical fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernard Hopkins was the executioner, and then he became the alien. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fighters that transition and have longevity, they're always able to like make that adjustment, that change. You know what I'm saying? You know, money is is a motivation, you know what I'm saying, to make money. But it's just like, you know, it's if you're a true student of the game, you know, and you're studying film and you go to the gym and you start working on things, you know, you want to pull that off in a fight. So it's just you know what I mean, it's just being a student in the game, man. So, and as far as Floyd and Pacquiao, man, it's like, you know, it's going to be, I think it's going to even be a better fight this time, only because, you know, obviously they're going to be, you know, they slow down. You know, Floyd I don't think he's going to be able to move as much as he used to. And then, you know, Pacquiao still kind of got that flow with him. You know, he showed it in Barrios fight. So, like, I think we know what Pacquiao's going to bring to the table is going to be more interesting what Floyd got. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd still got those movements, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Pacquiao's more of like the straight up fighter, where Floyd relied a lot on his speed.
Yeah.
We know that shit go. It's like, you're not gonna have speed. You're not gonna have speed when you're 50.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight just because of both of them slowing down.
At 47, Pacquiao is slowing down, but not as much as some might think. His recent majority draw against WBC champion Mario Barrios showed he still has one of the first things to fade with age, his legs, working better than many fighters half his age. In that July 2025 bout, Manny outworked a younger, fresher champion for long stretches, proving that this rematch could be a serious challenge for Mayweather, who has spent the last several years mostly gliding through low-stakes exhibitions.